Grizzly Creek Redwoods State Park is small, less than 1 square mile. But those who come earn big rewards. An inviting stream, a rustic visitor center, a cozy campground, and a lush redwood forest. The park's finest redwoods are in Cheatham Grove, a place so out of this world that it was used for filming one of the Star Wars movies. The trail through the grove is only 7/10 of a mile long, mostly flat, so it's great for kids. And the park offers a self-guided quest or treasure hunt. With the help of Ranger Emily Peterson, here's a sampling of what you might learn on that quest.
You can see that the leaves of the inside-out flower are in the shape of a duck's foot. And then, of course, we have our friend poison oak, which blends in really well with everything else here. We also have the redwood sorrel growing right here. It's a clover-like plant, but it isn't actually clover.
You might also see the tiny blossoms of the sugar scoop, Ranger Peterson's favorite flower. But it's so small, you'll need to get on your hands and knees to appreciate it.
Some other plants that we'll be seeing as we go along, the sword fern, lots and lots of sword fern. You can see there's a lot of sunlight that comes down through the canopy, so a lot of these plants in here are doing quite well.
There's a fern that looks like moose antlers, too, the leatherleaf fern. It always grows on trees, which makes it an epiphyte. It doesn't hurt the tree, it just uses it as a home.
What epiphytes are doing is they're using this big down log as a nursery. Plants can settle in on the duff, and as that duff starts to decompose and make soil, other plants can grow up off of those trees. They also can store a whole lot of water in the wintertime, and then in the summer they act as giant reservoirs for the rest of the redwood forest to make sure that everybody gets a little drink of water.
You'll also walk past bay trees with their canoe-shaped aromatic leaves, and big leaf maples. One maple here has become a popular place for weddings.
So this very special tree here, this is our big leaf maple. You can see that it has carved out its own little niche. It has quite a large area where it gets light that allowed it to get to this size. And if you come here in the fall, when it drops all of its beautiful leaves, it's just a carpet of yellow.
Now let's look at the redwoods themselves. The biggest ones here have been around for perhaps 1,000 years, since before Europeans came to this continent. They can live a long time because their thick bark helps them resist insects and fire. They're also firmly rooted to the ground, but their roots don't go deep.
This is our large fallen redwood tree. It shows you something very interesting about redwoods. They don't have a taproot, and so it's pretty amazing that trees that can get up to 360 plus feet tall, not that any in this grove are that tall, but still pretty darn tall, don't actually have one central root holding them down. Instead, what they have are a whole bunch of small roots. In a grove like this, they'll send their roots out hundreds of feet in all directions, and they intertwine and they hold on to each other for their stability. And this is also a floodplain. When the floods come in, they'll deposit a foot of silt, 2 feet of silt, 3 foot of silt. Redwood trees can go ahead and make new roots and get all the nutrients from that soil. All of the roots that are underneath them can die off, but that doesn't kill the trees.
A little farther down the trail, Peterson shows us a single slender limb or trunk poking out of the soil.
So how many people think that that right there is a tree? It's actually what's called a widowmaker. And if you look around at all these big redwood trees, you can see that there are all kinds of limbs just waiting to fall down. Now, if redwood trees had limbs way far down on their trunk, that would be a waste of time and energy. So what they do, because there's such a thick canopy, is that they'll drop those limbs, they fall to the forest floor, and then some of them spear into the ground like this one did, and then we call them widowmakers.
Star Wars fans might recognize this scene from Return of the Jedi. Or maybe this one.
This is our famous diagonal leaning redwood log. For all you kids out there who like Return of the Jedi, This is where the Ewoks went under the log on their little speedsters. I guarantee it.
Lots of people have seen this forest in the movies, but only a lucky few have seen it for themselves. We hope you'll join them. And bring some kids with you. Ask for a quest brochure at the visitor center and venture into the land of the ferns, the sorrel, the sugar scoops, and the mighty redwoods.